Hi, Richard. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So to start, I loved all the little what I saw as like notes to especially Zac Efron's career in this movie, just because he is the movie star in it.
Yes.
Were those all intentional on your part, like, having them almost dressed like the greatest showman at one point and just like those little nods?
No, actually, that must have been a happy coincidence. It was not. No, it just sort of happened. He brought a lot of his own ideas to the script as well, and to the character. I mean, he came up with the wig.
Good. Well, because I also love when it was like there's the part where they're talking about surgeries because Zac Efron's always in the news for it. And he points out he's like, I just had my chin because I got hurt. And I thought that was so much fun. So was it a collaborative experience getting to kind of craft those moments with Zac Efron?
They were in the script. That was in the script, but yes, very collaborative with Zach because he's a great improver and came up with a lot of great ideas for the script that weren't there before. So we were constantly doing the scene and then letting him sort of jump off jump off the cliff and see where he goes. And everything he came up with, it was an embarrassment of riches.
And it was funny because I was watching it and I was like, okay, there's one of two ways this movie could go at the end. And it went the way I didn't expect it to because
Really? Tell me. What do you mean?
because I thought, they went to he would take people to the streets of New York on the back lot. So I was like, this movie's clearly going to end with them actually going to New York or something. And then it was
I
like,
tell you something. That was the first version. We shot that. We shot that. And then we reshot it and rewrote it. But that was the original version. You're good.
they went. I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense that, that he would do this, but nope,
Yeah.
just I love
Wow.
it.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that we surprised you. That's even better.
Well, because it is such a funny little moment when he's like, I can't go to the grocery store anymore because, I am somebody who I
Yeah.
also love the showers on the fruit. I think it's funny. And so when he says, or like the vegetables, and when he says
Yeah.
that, I was like, that's like weirdly relatable when you are, making a comedy that
Yeah.
is a
And
rom-com.
that's all Carrie Solomon. She came up with that whole concept, and of course, she wrote it. But the whole idea of the grocery store and what that would mean, and wanting to do something fresh at the end, like we've never had a romantic comedy end with a kiss in a vegetable department. So that was all. That's all Carrie.
And it's so nice, but like you've done rom-coms before. You've done like just character-driven films as well. What was it about this story in particular? And this it's not a May December romance, but it is like there's an age gap between these two, and it is
Yeah.
her daughter's boss's relationship. What drew you to this and made you think like, yeah, this is going to end up being a really funny rom-com to kind of add to that rom-com renaissance that we're in right now?
It's funny. I never thought of it as a rom com in a way because even the term seems a little limiting. Have you listened to the new Beyonce album?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the little thing she does about genres.
Yeah.
So it's like I think about that. So I thought of it as a coming of age story for three different characters at three different points of their lives, and the romance is the catalyst for each of them to go to the next step in their own development. So it was a rom com wrapped up in a coming of age story for three different characters, which to me was a fresh way of doing it, as opposed to just a straight rom com.
And I too love like I haven't tagged it yet on Letterboxd, but when I do, I tag every movie that has a dead dad with Dead Dads Club because I was like, I'm part of it. Why not?
Oh,
But I
your dad passed away.
yes, but it's not to be serious. But but it leads into my question about I love that Zara like the one moment we really see her like break in an honest way is when her mother like compares them to like the feeling she had with her dad. And
Yeah.
I think that's very telling of someone who like, their parent has died and they're like, yeah, they're dead, whatever. But it's like you
Yeah.
have these moments. Was that important for you to like highlight that as her breaking point?
Very, very. And I love how the two actresses, I love how Joey and Nicole played that scene. We shot it with cameras so that they could just overlap each other and be in the moment and not break it up at all. So we just ran it several times. And what you're seeing is one whole take of them just really in there and all the truth of it all coming out. And it was very honest to me. And I loved that scene.
Yeah, it's so good. And I also really love too that like Nicole Kidman gets to just use her accent. Like it's not like another movie where we're like, well, Australian Nicole Kidman has
No,
to
no,
answer.
I love that she does it. It gives a very relaxed performance and kind of ease, you know. And I mean, Carrie wrote this years ago, a few years ago. So the Margot Robbie joke is even better now because Barbie came out last year. Who knew? But that was in there anyway, so that was wild.
Well, yeah, you guys got such a stacked cast too. 'Cause it's like, yeah, it's Zac Efron, Nicole Kidman, and I love Joey King, but it's also Kathy Bates is in this, and it's just like, oh wow, there's a bunch of people. Was that your goal, or did it just happen that like all of
That
these people?
happened. We had the part got built up in the production rewrites, and I had worked with Kathy on P.S. I Love You, and she's just one of my favorite actresses of all time since the Broadway stage in the 70s and 80s. And she's just one of the greatest, one of the great. I mean, everything she says, you believe. Everything is honest. She's also a great improver. She also comes up with lines that are even better. And the cast was really impressed because they had never worked with her before, and she was very impressed with the cast also, and especially Joey. She would like say to me, that girl," and like, I was like, okay, great, she really gets it.
One of my favorite things too in this movie is when like Zac Efron's talking about his eyes because like I am one of the loud people who are like Zac Efron should have been at least nominated
Iron
uh
Claw.
for the Iron Claw. Like he was so good, but it was
Yep.
like his eyes at the end. He's like what broke I think most of us. And so when he's talking about like I couldn't do that, my eyes would be covered. I couldn't stop laughing because I was like, well, yeah, because in the Iron Claw we all were like it broke all of us. When you guys are, I don't know whether that was written or improvised, but when you guys are on set and you're improvising, you're doing these moments, do you let your actors kind of have a lot of fun with themselves?
Absolutely. Well, with these actors, yes, you
Mhm.
have to. That was written. But there are a lot of scenes that Zach and Joey and Nicole and Kathy all riffed off of, and it's in the movie. It was better than what was written. Yeah.
Well, because it's so
Funnier.
funny. Yeah, it's just so funny. Like I was just watching it like most of the time I put on rom-coms, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna laugh a couple times. But or like you said, just like the movie that don't put it in the genre. But I just couldn't stop laughing
Oh,
throughout the
good. Oh, good,
whole
good, good.
movie.
I'm so glad. I mean, there's like, I think the one that comes to mind with Joey is because we did a few takes and each time she would do something different. But when she quits and she says, "Have fun shaving your own neck," that was that's Joey. She came up with that.
It is, because it's of the format, it is a commentary also on Hollywood, especially where she's like, I'll call the paparazzi. Like, I loved that because I was like, so many people think paparazzi just exist outside, and then 99% of the time, it's someone called
Right.
them.
That's right.
When you are making a meta movie that has all these layers to it, was there ever like one aspect that you're like, man, I wish we could lean like harder into this part, but I love like the overall thing that we're working on?
It might have been fun to actually show a scene from one of the Icarus movies previously, but we didn't have the time or the cash to do that. But that might have been fun to
Yeah,
show the
like
kind of character that he's playing.
because I do love that he's like it's very clearly a nod to Icarus, and she has to explain to him, which I thought was so funny. He just doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it early.
But for my last question, with I love that these movies are kind of all coming back, like these lighter comedies
Oh,
that have
good.
like I like that they're coming back. What is the most exciting part for you now that like audiences are going to see it? Because we all got real excited when we saw Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman in love with each
Oh,
other.
great. Oh, great, great, great. Well, I was just talking to Nicole about it too. I mean, we feel like it's time for some laughter and warmth and uplifting, a good time. I wanted the movie to be a relaxed, graceful ease of entertainment and fun. And I think we've accomplished that.
You definitely did. Thank you so much for talking with
Thank
me.
you, Rachel. It was a pleasure.
Have a great one.